Bitcoin has just broken over $69,000, and out of the last 4 times that Bitcoin has come out of a bear market, breaking into all-time highs, we saw Bitcoin nearly doubling in the following 21 days. So could we be in store for Bitcoin doubling all the way to 120K by the end of April? Well, as a part of today's video, I want to highlight some potential catalysts as to why we could in fact see Bitcoin hitting $100,000. What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. My name is Fareed. As a part of today's video, as I just mentioned, Bitcoin finally breaking the all-time high set back in November of 2021 of $69,000, nearly touching $70,000 with a brief retrace. As a part of today's video, I want to do a little bit of TA surrounding Bitcoin, but then I also want to jump into some news surrounding the Cardano ecosystem. So we're going to be jumping into the Cardano Summit, which has now been announced to be taking place in 2024, and I'll be revealing that particular location. Following that, I want to quickly talk about Indigo, the synthetics protocol building here on Cardano, followed by an integration or a collaboration, I should say, with USDM in the Splash protocol. Last but not least, I want to bring to your attention Pondora, a brand new marketplace aiming to launch here in the ecosystem. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, my goal is to keep you updated with everything blockchain and crypto. If you want to support the channel, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. If you want to take it a step further, consider delegating with the Dapp Central Stake Pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Between now and Epoch's 493, not only will you earn your traditional ADA rewards, you'll also earn the Matera governance token, as the Dapp Stake Pool is an official partner pool for their ongoing ISPO. Jumping into the first bit of news here, I want to highlight the fact that we've seen continued inflows by some of the biggest shareholders from the Bitcoin spot ETF, which include BlackRock. So it states here that BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, or IBIT for short, and their ETF fund has had over $788 million worth of inflows on March 5th alone, which set a brand new record by buying 12,000 Bitcoins in that particular day. Just to put this into perspective, every single day since the year of 2022, there's been about 900 brand new Bitcoins coming out into the market per day, again, given by the miners. So keep that in mind. There's only 900 coming out per day. As we get closer to the halving, that will be cut in half. And right now, just one of the, I believe it's 7 to 13 different ETF providers is scooping up over 12,000 per day. So we really are going to be beginning to see what I think is going to be a supply shock, with Bitcoin going to be so much more scarce following the halving, and so much more demand, as I personally think that we've just seen the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the institutional adoption. So I think we're going to have a crazy wild bull run coming up here. And that's just the first thing I wanted to highlight, which was the amount of Bitcoin being picked up by BlackRock. Jumping over, I want to quickly highlight the distribution of the Bitcoin right now as it stands. And as you guys can see here, this was released by K33 Research, which unfortunately did release some content earlier in the year, which was sort of against Cardano. At the end of the day, I'm still going to cover this here, but you do with that as you wish. Either way, it talks about different nations and how much Bitcoin they currently control, with the United States currently holding over 843,000 Bitcoins managed by some of these exchange traded platforms or by some of these ETF managers. We have Europe coming in there with 100,000 Bitcoin being managed by ETPs, followed by Canada with 52,000. And then there's a huge drop off there with Brazil, Hong Kong, and Australia with just a couple of thousand of Bitcoin. So as you guys can see here, the United States really trying to get ahead of the curve here when it comes to that institutional adoption. Again, not only is BlackRock a huge piece of that, but there's also a few other ETF managers that are now also getting their hands on Bitcoin. Jumping over here, some more bullish news just surrounding the trading volume. This was on March 6th. Or on March 5th, excuse me, we saw Bitcoin's trading volume finally cross over $46 billion on that single day. This is a brand new high, and this actually beats the high dating all the way back to 2021. Now we're just at the very beginning of the bull market, and we're already beating volume records from 2021. So let me know what you think that means. But to me, that screams extremely bullish. Now, I just mentioned the fact that we have the halving coming down the pipes here, only 38 days away. Another piece of bullish news. Historically, we've seen Bitcoin price lead all the way into brand new highs about 5 to 6 months after the Bitcoin halving. As of this particular run, we're already at a new all-time high with 38 days left to go until we see not 900 Bitcoins being mined per day, but 450. So imagine if the buy pressure just stays the same, just with BlackRock alone buying 12,000 right per day, and only 450 being mined and brought over into the open market. Now, if you pair that in addition to the fact that the majority of Bitcoin holders have had wallets that have not actually moved Bitcoin into exchanges yet, that just tells me that there will be a huge supply shock coming down here for Bitcoin, which also then leads to a supply shock potentially and price appreciation for altcoins as well. So let's jump into some TA here. What I want to do is quickly touch on the fact again that we do now have Bitcoin hitting its all-time high. This bear market, I think, was officially over after the FTX crash. We saw Bitcoin's price beginning to recover starting in early of 2023, with Bitcoin now up over 331%. Now I'm going to jump over into the weekly time frame here, and I've got some drawings that I want to quickly just go ahead and add to my chart here. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle that, and I'm just going to zoom out just for a little bit. Just as a reference, right? So we have 36 months between the December 2017 top, right, leading into the new all-time high, which was set right before the 2021 bull run. So around that 2020 timeline is when we saw this previous high set in 2017 being broken. Now, that took 36 months. If we take a look at where we are now, and I actually jump into the monthly chart here, I want to go ahead and just break this down and show you guys that things are progressing a lot faster than in times past. So measuring from the top in 2021 all the way to where we stand right now, that's a total of 28 bars or 28 months. So we are essentially about 8 or so months ahead in terms of cycles. Now, to back this up even further, if we take a look here, when this halving happened, I'm going to jump back over into the weekly time frame. We saw that Bitcoin had still not broken its all-time high. So we had the halving, which took place on May 11th of 2020. And then we had, let's see here, a total of about 31 weeks after the halving until Bitcoin hit that new all-time high. Now, if we take a look at this year, this blue line here is the upcoming halving again, which is a rough estimate because of the way that the blocks are minted, but it's about 38 days away from where we currently stand. So this is the first ever time in Bitcoin's history that Bitcoin has now broken over the all-time high before the actual halving has taken place. So if we take a look at that as well, that's an extremely bullish sign for me, but also tells me that the cycle is way ahead, potentially also leaning to the fact that we may top out before what we would normally expect. So keep that in mind as well, right? Because everything seems to have been kind of shifted to the left a little bit. We may not just see the bull market start early, we may also see it end early as well. So keep that in mind. Next, I want to jump into updates surrounding the Bitcoin dominance. Taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance on the daily time frame, we have Bitcoin, which has kind of just been throttling between this 52% dominance all the way to about this 55% dominance range. Now, we've yet to break out of it. There could still potentially be one more leg into Bitcoin before we see that huge drop down or that huge drop off in dominance, which signaled the last altcoin run. So if I zoom out just a little bit here, this is when the last altcoin run started. As you guys can see, we saw Bitcoin kind of hovering within a particular range. We had one last push up here, and then this drawdown basically initiated the altcoin season. And then we saw Bitcoin recovering, right? Because again, that was the first market leader coming into this next bull run. Now, the dominance has not recovered back to prior levels. I don't think that it ever will, just due to the fact that there's now more coins out in the ecosystem than ever. There's new opportunities and there's new liquidity flowing out of Bitcoin into much more riskier or much more profitable place. So I think that we may have seen the tops, or at least we're very close to seeing the tops when it comes to Bitcoin dominance. Again, we may get one last push out of this zone here, but then I believe that we will get a sharp pullback very similar to what we had back in the last cycle, initiating this year's or this bull market's altcoin run. So what I'm personally looking for here is a drop of dominance anywhere between, or anywhere below, I should say, this 52% range, which has served as support here since we've begun trading around this range back in June of 2023. So that's going to be, what I'm going to be looking for moving into the altcoin season, which should hopefully be right around the corner. Now, I also want to quickly touch on the fact that we typically did see altcoins beginning to run about 3 to 4 weeks after Bitcoin had set its all-time high. So if I jump back over into this chart here again, and I zoom out, let's jump back on the weekly here. If I reset this, as you guys will notice, from the time that we made a new all-time high, Bitcoin went to make an additional, let's see here, 91% returns in the next 49 days. So if Bitcoin were to do the same exact thing this go around, this would give us, let's see here, from just about right there, and we're looking for about 49% right there. That brings us to right at about $100,000. So let me know what you guys think down below. Is this possible? I definitely think so. One thing to definitely keep in mind is that we did have the pandemic, which was a black swan event leading into the halving. We have yet to have a major pullback this entire bull run so far. Could this be up only with the institutional pressure and the upcoming Bitcoin halving? I think so. And, one thing that I've learned from other creators and other investors is that the market can remain more irrational than we as investors can remain solvent. So we could see up only for much longer than anticipated. And that could actually catch a lot of the bears off guard who've been consistently betting in the other direction when it comes to crypto and blockchain right now, aiming to get lower entries down below, which I personally think we will not be getting moving forward. Now, the very last thing I want to do is review altcoins and just quickly address something that I've noticed within the community, which are a lot of people saying that altcoins have yet to move. However, if you take a look at prior cycles, altcoins always begin to move after Bitcoin had set a new all-time high, with about a 3 to 4 week span between the time that they actually got started running and the time that Bitcoin had broken that new all-time high. So because we've now broken that new all-time high, could we begin to see an altcoin run within the next couple of weeks? Again, I definitely think so, and I want to quickly just go ahead and highlight that case. So zooming in here, let's see here. I'm going to just put this back on. We have the brand new all-time high for Bitcoin right here around Monday, the 7th of December. And as you guys can see, looking at that bottom chart down there, which is tracking ADA, Cardano had not made any new all-time highs yet. It was really only until after Bitcoin had gone into brand new price discovery that about 3 to 4 weeks later, if you're looking at that bottom chart there, that we really began to see altcoins picking up, with the first top happening around the same time that Bitcoin topped out. And then we actually saw altcoins topping out, or at least Cardano topping out way before the Bitcoin top in November of 2021. So just a few things to keep in mind there. That will do it there for the first segment. Again, let me know if you guys do enjoy the TA updates. I will definitely be doing a little bit more to bring those forward to you guys if you guys do find them useful. So jumping into Cardano specific updates now, we have the official announcement of the Dubai Summit, or the Cardano Summit, which will be taking place in Dubai between October 23rd and October 24th. So this just came out here from the CF. If you guys missed this last year, this was an amazing event. A lot of builders, a lot of outsiders who were brand new introduced into Cardano, a lot of creators, influencers, teachers, anybody who basically had an impact on Cardano was at this event. This was one of the ones that I definitely would recommend to anybody to join. It was one that was a huge highlight for me personally. And as you guys can see here, a lot of time going into just setting up the event, not just during the daytime, but even at nighttime for some of the galas, the outings, the dining in the desert experience, just to name a few. So this is finally announced. A lot of people, I think, were expecting for this to take place somewhere like in Singapore, Japan. However, the team has decided to go back to Dubai. Now, Dubai has been very friendly and very open to crypto adoption, which I think lends to why the team has gone back here for a second time. So keep this in mind. You can go ahead and register right now at summit.cardano.org. This will be taking place between the 23rd and the 24th of October of 2024, and I hope to see you all there. As always, if you guys do enjoy updates like these, I'd appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by, I would appreciate you if you could go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, if you want to take it a step further in supporting, consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool. Next, I want to talk about Indigo. So this team just released their monthly stats. I'm not going to harp on these too much, but we have the TVL increasing by 40%, of course, because of the value of ADA also increasing about 30 to 40% in the last month. We've also got their iAsset market cap increasing, again, due to their USD valuation, with the total number of CDPs just down slightly, about 3.8%. In terms of their stability pool interest rates, we have the IUSD stability pool providing a 20% return, the BTC providing a 13% return, followed by ETH at a 17% return, and then their Indy staking providing about an 8.3% return annually. So next thing I want to quickly touch on is the fact that the proposal to get Indigo V2 has now been given over to their DAO. Indigo Labs, who's in charge of developing the protocol, has made sure to hand everything over and to make sure that the DAO is in charge of everything moving forward, which includes major upgrades like this where the community has the right to vote to either accept or deny something as pivotal as V2. So I don't think that this will have any sort of doubters about it. The team has been extremely clear about what to include and what will be included, right? And so the first temp check is now available for anybody who holds the Indy token in order for them to vote as to whether or not they want to get the V2 version of this protocol live on the main net. So if I jump over to the temp check here, they do highlight some of the biggest changes. Again, for the sake of time, as you guys can see, this is, pretty thorough. It highlights everything with the V2 and the post-deployment feature introductions. Now, I want to take a minute to quickly highlight a few of the benefits. So there will be a LST, or a liquidity state transition, which will basically enhance the throughput of their stability pool transactions, which basically act as insurance anytime that there needs to be some sort of liquidation on the Synthetics protocol. In addition, they're going to be implementing their exponential proposal deposit. So they want to make it fair, but then also want to make sure that people aren't just proposing things for the sake of proposing it, making it somewhat of a less regarded feature in the future. So they've implemented some changes to encourage meaningful and considerate proposals. And I believe what they're going to be doing is providing a fee, or making sure that there is now a fee associated with proposals. Again, I think that this deters bad actors from just flooding the platform with illegitimate or useless or irrelevant proposals. Now, in terms of the protocol parameter adjustments, their minimum quorum moving forward in order to actually vote for a proposal will need to be a minimum of 5% of the total circulating supply, which has voted. It doesn't matter whether it's yes or no. They just need that amount, which again is 5% of the total circulating supply, which will be a number that changes over time, right? But once they've got that 5%, whatever is being voted on is basically declared as official. Next, there's going to be a 450,000 Indy maximum treasury spend limit per proposal. So you can never have a single proposal that's asking for more than 450K Indy tokens to be spent. Now there's going to be a 100K ADA maximum treasury spend per limit as well. So keep in mind, Indy is the governance token for the protocol and Cardano is the governance token for the Cardano network. Now, there's going to be no spend limit on any other treasury asset. So if you maybe want to spend IBTC, IETH, or IUSD, looks like there's no cap on that, but there is a cap on Indy and ADA. Please jump into this, check this out. Next, I want to talk about USDM. So the Mahen team has about 8 days left till we get our first ever fiat-backed stablecoin here on Cardano. I'm extremely excited. Hopefully you are too. But they've now partnered up with Splash, which will be an order book style DEX launching here. They've got an ongoing airdrop campaign in collaboration with the DEX Hunter team. And this is just one of the many integrations that I'm personally going to be looking for when it comes to USDM. So you could imagine that USDM would be integrated into the top DeFi platforms, for example, like Liquid or Meld when they launch here on Cardano. We would also expect to see them listed on the main DEXs, including Sunday Swap, Mint Swap, Wing Riders, etc. And then potentially being integrated into additional protocols that require some sort of fiat-backed stablecoin or some sort of stable asset. So it states here that Splash Protocol, a decentralized market making and trading platform on Cardano, and USDM, a fiat-backed stablecoin, will not be working together. They break down some of the features in which you can utilize USDM on the Splash Protocol, but keep in mind, that Splash is actually yet to launch. So they will be launching, I believe, very, very soon. Very similarly, we have the Iagon team announcing that they will be partaking 2.5% of the allocation of tokens, I believe, as representatives of the Splash DAO. So the Splash team has come out with an announcement saying that they're going to be working with the biggest teams and the biggest projects in the community to get them on board as a part of their DAO. And they've announced a few of them, including Iagon. So the Splash tokens that the Iagon team will be purchasing or receiving as a part of the DAO will be locked for a matter of 12 months. But it is good to see that this Splash team has, again, collaborated with USDM. They've collaborated now with Iagon, and they're also collaborating with Dex Hunter for their airdrop. So Splash could be a big one here. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out surrounding their public sale, which should be coming out very, very soon. The very last thing I want to quickly touch on is Pondora. So it states here, grow Cardano together. This particular protocol is aiming to be capital efficient, provide a nice and seamless user experience, also while adopting an open standard. I believe they're going to be a Cardano Marketplace. They just came on my radar not too long ago, but as we get more information surrounding them, I'll make sure to go ahead and keep you guys updated. That will do it for today's Cardano Scoop, touching on Bitcoin making a brand new all-time high, talking about the Cardano Summit going back for round 2 in Dubai, followed by updates surrounding Indigo, USDM, and Pondora. As always, if you guys do enjoy updates like these, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this, then consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me surrounding anything we've chatted about, then as always, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. That said, I'll see you guys in the next video.